Hello BL lovers, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I want to talk about a type of BL couple or BL trope that interests me a lot, bad boy, good boy BL couple. When a bad boy falls in love with a good boy, this dynamic is epic and always intriguing to see how their differences shape them and ultimately lead them to become soulmates. Sometimes the bad boy versus good boy trope is toxic, but honestly, anyone can fall in love with anyone, and not all of them are a toxic couples. So let's explore our BL couples where the bad boy top falls in love with the good boy bottom or vice versa. Number 15. Pete and Kyle from Dark Blue Kiss. Honestly, this couple is one of my old-time favorites because of the dynamic they share. Pete isn't your typical kind-hearted person. He portrays a cold, insecure and sometimes controlling character. Yet he falls in love with the quiet and peaceful Kyle, who prioritizes love, support, and harmony over everything. Their differences definitely brought challenges and toxicity into the relationship, but they were able to overcome them. Number 14. Third and Kai from Theory of Love. The way Kai is portrayed as a bad boy is quite intense, and yet Third falls hopelessly in love with him. Kai is shown as a chronic womanizer who is emotionally unstable and never satisfied with any of the women he dates. He comes off as nonchalant and doesn't care about the people he hurts, including, unknowingly, Third, the one person who always stood by him. Third is seen falling deeply for Kai even though the relationship is painful. This dynamic is thrilling, but also heartbreaking. Number 13. King and Wee from Bedfriend. Although we don't get to see much of King's backstory, the series portrays him as a player who jumps from one partner to another. Meanwhile, Wee is a mentally traumatized boy who ends up trapped in a relationship with him. Even though King seemed like a red flag at first, I personally saw him as a green flag, maybe because we didn't fully explore his past. The series suggests he was a serial cheater, but falling in love with Wee brought out a softer, more caring side of him that I didn't expect. Number 12. Ming and Joe from My Stand-In. Honestly, how Ming managed to bag Joe isn't surprising, but it's still thrilling. Ming's version of being a bad boy is special. He doesn't follow the typical bad boy behavior, but the way he manipulates situations in his favor is alarming. He has a way of projecting outcomes and making things happen just as he wants. It makes you wonder, did Joe truly fall in love with him in his second life, or did he feel like he had no choice? Ming is intimidating, while Joe is an innocent man who gets captivated by his charm. I usually love bad boy or good boy endings, but theirs, it was honestly heartbreaking. Number 11. 10 OA from I Told Sunset About You. Let's ignore Season 1 for a moment and focus on how their characters were portrayed in Season 2. Tae isn't much of a good person at all, and he proves that several times. The way he made his boyfriend feel small because of his own insecurities, the cheating, and thinking that just apologizing would fix everything, it was a lot. OA was a boy who fell completely in love and became submissive in the relationship. Unfortunately, he was taken advantage of. This couple portrayed the bad boy or good boy trope in such a unique way that it made their story unforgettable even if painful to watch. Number 10. Sky and Propy from Love in the Air. Here comes another serial cheater who unexpectedly got hooked on love and became a surprising green flag. This just proves that there's always a hidden side to everyone. A good person can bring out the worst in someone, and a bad person can bring out the best. It all depends on who they're with. That's exactly the case with Propy. He was portrayed as a sex-positive villain, yet he ultimately fell in love with Sky, an innocent boy who honestly deserved better. But Propy proved the saying, don't judge a book by its cover. His love story with Sky became a beautiful example of growth and redemption. Number 9. Kim and Kamal from Unforgettable Night. This is actually one of my favorite couples when it comes to the bad boy or good boy trope because they truly complete each other. Kamal, a mafia boss, is portrayed as a nonchalant, almost psychopathic man. However, he falls in love even though the person he loves doesn't seem to want him at first. Kamal uses his power to manipulate the situation, turning what initially looked like an unhealthy obsession into a twisted kind of union. You must love me or love me. Though Kamal is a bad boy due to his role in the mafia world, the way he treats Kim reveals a duality, like he's two different people. Kim, on the other hand, is the ultimate good boy. He's submissive, but he knows how to use it to his advantage. No matter how strong Kamal appears, he ends up falling deeply for Kim and even redeeming himself for him. This couple is the perfect example of the good boy or bad boy dynamic in BL. Number 8. JJ and Marthus from This Love Doesn't Have Long Beans. This couple portrays a unique story. The way JJ ultimately falls in love is surprising because he starts off as a morally upright guy who despises people who intimidate and take advantage of others. Yet, he still ends up hopelessly falling for the bad guy. For Marthus, it's not surprising that he would fall for JJ. JJ is kind even though Marthus thought he was a jerk at first. He was also one of the few people who was genuinely there for him when no one else was. JJ showed Marthus that it's okay to be weak, to need help, and to rely on someone. Marthus also embodied the "you must love me if I love you" energy, and in the end, he got what he wanted. Surprisingly, they turned out to be perfect for each other in their own chaotic way. Number 7. Charn and Tin from Laws of Attraction. Let's start with the fact that they both hated each other at first. Their love story began with manipulation. Charn used his charm and cunning to make Tin fall for him. It's especially surprising because Tin is a very traditional, morally upright type of person who calls a spade. And yet, even after realizing he was tricked, he didn't care anymore. He just went for the person he loved. He wasn't able to change Charn, but they somehow managed to coexist as a couple, despite being so different. Charn, on the other hand, sat back and watched the man he lured fall head over heels for him, all while enjoying being worshipped and adored. This couple embodies the dark side of the trope in a truly memorable way. Number 6. Salem and Kanghan from Dangerous Romance. This is another couple that really pulls off the bad boy or good boy trope well. Personally, I wouldn't call Salem completely innocent. He's not the type to let someone walk all over him and then walk away quietly. But he's definitely a good guy. He's moral, grounded, and driven by a strong sense of right and wrong. Kanghan, on the other hand, isn't just a bully, he's an outright oppressor. But as the story unfolds, Salem confronts him and, over time, begins to understand the root of his behavior. Kanghan's insecurities drove him to tear others down just to feel better about himself. While Kanghan is clearly the bad guy in the beginning, Salem proves that even a morally upright person is capable of being fierce when pushed. He may be the good guy, but he's no pushover. And as for Kanghan, he's a spoiled brat, but maybe not all bad, especially after he genuinely falls for Salem and begins to grow, even if he started out with all the wrong intentions. Number 5. Nick and Boston from Only Friends. Even though Nick can't really be called innocent, he's definitely the better one in this pairing. He's the good guy in the picture, while Boston is just something else, a true wild card. Boston is portrayed as a carefree, emotionally unavailable person who enjoys hurting people and doesn't take anything seriously. Meanwhile, Nick is trapped in his own Delulu mindset. He's emotionally attached to Boston through their sexual relationship and can't seem to let go, even though it's clear to everyone, including us viewers, that Boston doesn't care about him. Thankfully, they don't end up together, because that would have been a true tragedy for Nick's character. Number 4. Pat and Elise, the couple from Bad Guy, My Boss. Now this couple is something else. The boss plays the role of a sex-positive villain, and honestly, he's emotionally tortuous. Pat, the assistant, is just an innocent guy, so it's wild trying to understand what attracted him to his boss in the first place. Pat was the one arranging all of his boss's hookups, yet somehow fell in love with him. Love really is crazy. The worst part is, the boss didn't even bother to hide his behavior. He was openly inconsiderate and cruel, and as expected, Pat ended up getting his heart broken. It was painful to watch, but it definitely left an impact. Number 3. Top and Mew from Only Friends. This couple also hit hard with the bad boy or good boy trope, and honestly, it almost brought out the dark side of Mew, who had always been seen as innocent. Mew was essentially catfished into loving someone he thought was different, even though Top tried to be a better man for Mew. His past tells a different story. He was definitely a sex-positive villain, much like Boston. How he ended up falling for someone like Mew is still one of the most fascinating parts of the show. Their dynamic shows how complicated love can be when one person is fighting their demons and the other is trying to believe in the best version of someone who keeps disappointing them. Number 2. Fatal and Style from The Heart Killers. Honestly, I want to agree that Fatal is the bad guy in the relationship, but Sky is also not exactly a good person. The difference? Style doesn't have a weapon, but he definitely knows how to manipulate situations for his own benefit. The way he catfished Fatal into falling in love and twisted things behind the scenes before realizing he was dealing with someone just as dark as he was, it's alarming. Still, I believe Sky is the missing piece that Fatal needed. Despite both having major flaws, they somehow make it work and balance each other in a chaotic but fitting way. Number 1. Vegas and Pete from Kin Porsche. This one always makes me laugh, especially when fans act like Pete is the good guy in the relationship. Pete isn't exactly innocent, but compared to Vegas, he does come off as the good boy who falls for a dangerously bad guy mainly because he started off as a victim. Vegas is pure chaos, possessive, manipulative, and controlling, and yet, somehow, Pete falls for him. Whether it's Stockholm Syndrome or genuine love, their relationship is messy, intense, and unforgettable, a true example of how the line between good and bad blurs in the world of BL. And that's all for this video. If you enjoyed it, please like, follow, and share for more BL content. Let me know your favorite good boy or bad boy BL couples in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.